I must be honest. Women are just more selective. We are
let's
just
let's have the
we're
conversation.
more selective with who we. Most of us are more selective with who we give it to. I don't know what to tell you. Even the promiscuous ones, because you forget that I have been doing nails for 20 years. I have known many different archetypes of women, and I have known the fast and loose, and I have known the demure and loose.
But
So
that,
I'm
but
just saying they come
that
in.
that ref,
They are just more. They just more selective with their wholeness. I don't know what to
but
tell you.
that refutes your argument because you're stating that women perform or holding back this urge. That refutes your argument. That's what I was saying. I don't know if I didn't communicate it correctly. Women are
That's the same
selective.
thing. Being selective.
No, you
But
could
men are
argue
not, but
that.
men are not sexually selective. So to say that women are not outperforming men sexually, no, they actually are. The only reason why the numbers aren't even more aggressive is because they're so selective. But yeah, women are to tie everything to relationships. And the truth is that the shift of culture has been women have operated under the mindset that you just stated. Men are outside. When we walk outside, our dick is out. Clearly, we go to the grocery store and get some milk, and some girl on aisle 8 just can't wait to get us in the parking lot. That's not how that works. Most dudes don't get that kind of energy. However, that is your life. And what I've seen women do is they paint this false narrative that because you guys are always inundated with sexual approaches, that is what the common man's life experience sexually is, and that is far from true. We have
I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, so that's where I just can't believe that in the early century of time, women were just out here comfortable, just shooting it around, and because there was no internet, they were just as promiscuous or just as ratchet. I just don't believe that.
Two things I just want to add. You brought up the church and women were being loose back then. The crazy thing is back then, even in church, the loose women were shunned, and they were
I ain't
saying
bring up no church.
they were true did.
Oh,
So like even back then they were shunned. Now the church is comprised of hoes and loose women. Like we all understand that a hoe's final form is a religious woman. So that's a big change that we've made. And then true, your point is 1,000,000,000% correct. Most niggas' dicks are attached to their thumbs when they're on their phone. That's why they're double tapping and liking shit. You guys think that like y'all still lie to yourself and say I posted online because I like the picture I feel. You post anything online for attention. Everything you post on social media is for attention. The attention you get is with niggas' thumb dicks. So now they're here double tapping all your pictures, any of your story posts, unless you're ugly, then they just might be trying to support you or bored. But anytime a dude likes your picture, it's a dick attached to that. Especially if you look decent. So that's a huge difference because now all these loose women that have 5G LTE connections on their cell phone, their proximity is now global. So it's impossible for these women to be just as or less than hoes than their ancestors or their previous generation was, because even with the advent of the internet, say you gave it 20 years ago, those women wouldn't have been hoes like this because their values were still different. Being a hoe used to be significantly less cool in the 80s and 90s than it was in the 2000s, 2010, and right now. Like, there's not an argument that can be made against that. Is she talking? Is she
okay.
speaking for?
I just need to cut in real quick. I'm gonna say something real off topic. Whatever anybody got to say, just please keep it. I just need to say this. You little ratchet women in the comments constantly calling men gay for saying things. It doesn't matter what they say. You are no better than the red pill, I don't get no sex, nut rag men in them comments as well. Y'all do not know how to handle yourselves as women. You have vaginas. You do not have dicks. And y'all need to act as such because it's really disgusting the way y'all be calling men gay. But as soon as they call you fat, ugly, nasty hoes, now y'all got a problem. Y'all need to chill. I don't like that. I don't like the sassy. I don't like the gay because it's completely uncalled for. You can combat something that they are saying without attacking their sexuality, because just because they have something that you don't agree with does not mean that they are gay. That just means that they are saying something that you don't agree with. It's disgusting, and it is not of a woman to act like.
But none of them hoes you just addressed can combat anything that anybody says without attacking us. If they could, they'd come on the panel. But
I
then we'd
know.
all get to see what they look like, and they're not going to come on the panel for that alone. So, but thank you for addressing the hyena bitches in the comments, though. That was dope.
So I just had a quick question about that. Just the hatred for hoes in general. So the only issue that I have with it, which I find a bit peculiar, is that men in general hate hoes, but then they hate women who won't smash. And most men report, like, let's just say we went up and down a panel. There's a lot of people who report triple digits or even quadruple digits, which would make you a perpetual offender. If you were constantly creating hoes, how could you hate the hoes that you create?
So
I think you're assuming that the interactions. I think you're assuming that the interactions were gotten off of some ill approach. Like, you can have your numbers up based on just your proximity, where you were in your life. It doesn't mean every single time you was interacting with a girl, it was a hoe, or she was loose, or she was around the way. And I think, again, that's what I hear sometimes. We talking about our community. We don't have a very high priority when it comes to sex. We just think sex is just out. You're just supposed to do it. You 13 banging it out in the alley. This is just normal. That's weird, yo. Like, we need to raise our standards, and that's the problem. That's why we're accepting the fact that girls are 30 years old with 40, 50 bodies, and that's just okay. But
so then what should men do then?
For making our point.
What you say?
What's up?
You feel like they cut us off and stopped us from making our point and conflated into an argument we ain't make?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. Every time we was getting into it, all right, next person. All right.
Trev, you know why I disagree with that? I don't think that most men hate hoes, but I think people in general hate when things try to drift into a lane that's not theirs. And the problem is, hoes typically want to go into the lane of wife. They want to go into the lane of long-term partner. They want to go into these other lanes. I think hoes have a place in society, but when you start to mix into a lane that's not yours, it's like if somebody came here and been like, yeah, I just got a supercar, and they like, yeah, I just grabbed a Mustang, and you like, what? You be like, no, that's not a supercar. You gonna argue with that nigga all day, or you be like, yo, this nigga's a Hall of Famer, this nigga's a GOAT, and you be like, yeah, Jamal Crawford, a Hall of Famer, he a GOAT, and you be like, no, he's not a Hall of Famer, he lit, but that's my guy. But you will have that conversation all day because it's just incorrect, and he's stepping outside of a lane as his. If that makes sense.
It's entitlement. Hoes want the same treatment that wives get, and then feel like they deserve it while not performing as wives do, not comporting themselves as the women that men want to marry do. Again, I let this nigga gotta quote this, but Illa said it best: the good women are standing too close to the hoes. Like, that is the most accurate shit that a nigga has said about this shit in the past 10 years. So there's nothing wrong. Like, again, being a hoe is separate from being a wife. We can have conversations about good women, but unfortunately, I don't believe I haven't seen many. There are not very many good women on the internet participating in these conversations. It's rare. It's rare. How many times you guys go on a panel and see a woman be like, damn, I would love to come home to her. Y'all be like, damn, I love to fuck. Damn, she look like she's fun to hang out with. But most dudes don't look at women on these panels and be like, you know what, man, that's a wife right there. And then the ones that we do say that about are married. Like, they're either married or they're already engaged. That's what happens when you have hoes and good women stand side by side. It's 5 women or 4 women up here right now, right? If we do the math, one of these 4 women is a hoe. So that means that she's standing close to women who could be somebody's wife. And when hoes and good girls stand next to each other, like, it's like bad apples. The good girls start wanting to hoe vicariously through the hoe. They start supporting the hoe, like her hotels. They want to listen, and it's like that's why they're the number one consumers of smut novels. And their number one podcast is Call Me Daddy. Men's number one podcast is Joe Rogan. Men consume self-help shit. Women consume debauchery. That's all this is now.
Yeah. And to further solidify my point, if we all knew that it was one hoe, if we all knew the same hoe, right? And I told you like, yeah, yo, I just fucked what's her name last night. Y'all all be like, oh, cool, all right. Yeah. But if I told you, yo, that's my girlfriend now, you'd be like, oh, you just switched.
I'll hang up the phone.
You just switched lanes. That's not the lane that's supposed to. Y'all gonna be mad at me. Yeah. Y'all gonna be like, oh, we gotta have a conversation. What are you doing, right? We're not mad that they're hoes existing as hoes. They're upset that they switching lanes.
I get it. No, I've heard the phrase "I hate hoes" before, but anyway. So what I'm saying is that once they cross that threshold of 8 or whatever, then now they're forced into perpetual hoedom. In essence, right? That's what we're doing.
No,
and you can't come back.
No, it's like, bro, it's you. Okay, so you got a lot of bodies. You just need to work with what you're worth, and not what you feel you're worth or what you deserve. You should be what you go off what you've earned. You got a bunch of niggas. You got a bunch of dick you had. You just don't qualify for the type of nigga that you want. Ideally, you're gonna have to settle, or you're gonna have to make some sort of concession. The same way, a short nigga, a nigga who don't make money, a dude who got a bunch of kids by different women, is going to have to make concessions about the type of woman he wants. It happens on both sides.
No, I get it. So what we're saying is that we could go ahead and beat the hell out of all of these women, create hoes, and then they're not cool for us because we don't hold them out. But yeah, y'all dudes who ain't getting to it yet, yeah, that's your wife. In a nutshell.
I don't think that's what we're saying. I think Willie framed it correctly. Like when we do other comparisons, a high school dropout demanding $250,000 a year in a salary, everybody understands. But something about the fact that we try to place a standard on a woman's chastity seems to just, I don't know why.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I'm just trying to figure out, what do we do with the hoes? That's the problem, right? Where do hoes go? What place do they have in the ecosystem? What are they supposed to do? Once you cross the threshold, which a lot of people is too late for, who's supposed to wed these hoes?
Nobody.
Where are they supposed to go?
Everybody's not supposed to be. There's not somebody for everybody. That's the story. That's a fairy tale that women made up after growing up off of Disney. It's mathematically improbable. It's more men than women for one now. But then again, 20% of these niggas like dick. So okay, now there's fewer even men. Yes, we're talking about globally. So it's a lot of these niggas don't even like women. So and then the women all like the same niggas. It's gonna be a lot of motherfuckers lonely because unfortunately niggas have standards too, and a lot of these women don't meet the standards of the men they want. So those women and the men who don't meet the standards of the women they want, they just need to go to an island and figure it the fuck out. The rest of us, we just sit over here and just pair bond. I mean, saying we just bond that way. But the biggest issue is I think they should all have a good man of their own. That's where it's break down at.
I need to point out some misinformation.